Little Dre is preparing to move to Beijing with his mother, starting a new life in this land. But he didn't like the idea at all, not China at all, because in his mind, everything there was old and the people were fake. After a long day of flying, mother and son arrived in Beijing. They rented an apartment for themselves in a dormitory. Although small, it had enough room for 2 people to live. Soon after, Dre went down to the courtyard to find a friend. The boy had a good eye for people when he saw a beautiful girl. The two just started talking and found a common hobby, listening to music. Then Dre also showed off a few dance moves to flirt with her. But because of this, some kids in the distance were extremely jealous of him. One of them was jealous because he also liked the same girl. The kid didn't say much, but taught Dre a lesson. The two rushed to fight, but Dre was no match for him. With little effort, the boy beat Dre so that he couldn't stand up. Fortunately, the girl stopped it in time, which is why the kid stopped. The next morning, Mom took Dre to his new school. It was so frustrating. Here he met the guy who had just beaten him yesterday. Now Dre hated this country more and more. That day, Mr. Han, the homeowner, came to help his mother and son fix the water heater. He accidentally saw Dre practicing martial arts alone. The next morning at school, Dre came to find his American friend, Mei Ying, and he also discovered that she really liked playing the violin. Mei Ying was practicing for next month's performance. When he left the performance room, he was stopped by Cheng. Luckily this time, they only gave a warning and didn't touch him. The next day while going to school, Dre was drawn to a martial arts center. When he went inside to look, he saw that Cheng was studying here. Seeing that, Dre didn't want to continue watching and immediately left. The next day, he had a tour of the Forbidden City with his class. But the tour was not very fun because Cheng was there. When they left, Dre only dared to silently follow behind them. At this time, he saw the wastewater from nearby houses. They had bullied him a lot, and now it was time to take revenge. Dre took the dirty water and threw it straight at the group. Very quickly, the kids discovered him and chased him. Dre knocked over a few items to get in their way, but couldn't stop them. They soon caught them. They locked the door to prepare for Dre, then started punching him in the stomach. Dre couldn't fight back because he was alone. One of them stopped the others, but Cheng had no intention of stopping. Right when he was about to deliver the decisive blow, Mr. Han, the homeowner, appeared. But they did not respect adults and intended to attack Mr. Han. But the people who ended up learning a lesson were them. With just a few basic moves, he defeated all the unruly students. Then he took Dre home to help him treat his injury. This type of pain relief Dre had never seen before, but its effectiveness was far beyond his imagination. Just a few simple movements made Dre no longer feel any pain. Seeing that Uncle Han was good at martial arts, Dre asked him to teach him. But when he learned that Dre wanted to use martial arts to take revenge, Uncle Han refused. The purpose of learning martial arts is to defend yourself, not to wage war. But when Dre left, Han thought for a moment and called the boy back. Uncle Han took him to the dojo where Cheng studied. It turned out Han brought Dre here to make peace, hoping they wouldn't bully Dre anymore. But they did not want to make peace and still wanted to continue fighting. Han didn't want to cause trouble with the bullies, so he left. But the trainer stopped Uncle Han and asked him to participate in the upcoming martial arts tournament. If Dre wins, they won't touch him anymore. Having no other choice, Uncle Han had to agree to this proposal. But it seemed Dre was not ready to fight them yet. Uncle Han reassured the boy that he already had a plan, and the good news was that Han himself would teach Dre. The next morning, Dre went to Uncle Han's house to start practicing. But the first exercise was so boring. He had to do the same move over and over again, bending down to pick up a jacket and hanging it up. Regardless of whether the day was sunny or rainy, Dre had to do this movement non-stop. It had been a week and there had been no change. Dre started to feel depressed and said he would give up practicing. At this time, Uncle Han revealed to him that this jacket-hanging movement was a martial art. Martial arts are in everything we do. Dre eventually understood and continued training with Uncle Han. The boy's skills also became much stronger than before. Today, Uncle Han took Dre to a place where he used to learn martial arts. The two had to climb thousands of stairs to get there, and everything on it definitely wouldn't disappoint Dre. Everyone here was enthusiastic about practicing martial arts. Some people were good at using sticks. Others were good at fan dancing. Some were even meditating while balanced on 2 fingers. The character that interested Dre the most was a girl practicing with a snake on the side of a cliff. He wondered what kind of martial art one would produce by practicing with a snake. But the main purpose of today's trip was not to visit, but to find the Dragon Well, a magical water in martial arts. Just by drinking it, Dre would be invincible in the ring. Perhaps this was the most delicious water the boy had ever drunk. After that, the two returned to practice to improve their skills. They practiced all kinds of martial arts. But the most difficult subject was still sensing attacks from behind a cloth. To learn this move, you must really concentrate and have a good feeling. After many days of hard training, Uncle Han gave him a day off. Taking the opportunity to rest, Dre immediately spent time hanging out with his friend Mei Ying. Then, Dre convinced her to skip piano practice and go out with him. The two happily went everywhere together. But unfortunately, the school had moved Mei Ying's performance to that morning. Right after that, Mei Ying's parents came to pick her up to take her to the performance. Fortunately, Mei Ying returned in time. Dre also arrived at the same time to watch her perform. It was sad that Dre was the only one clapping for Mei Ying. But it seemed the girl's parents didn't like this boy very much. The couple told their daughter not to socialize with Dre and refused to let her be friends with him, fearing that someone like him would be a bad influence on their daughter. Dre was extremely sad and went to his Uncle Han's house. But right now, Han was destroying the car he loved so much. Looking at the newspaper clippings on the table, Dre understood part of the story. Uncle Han once had a wife and a cute son. But on a day 10 years ago, Uncle Han's family had an accident. His wife and children were gone forever. Instead, Dre took his uncle out to practice martial arts to forget his sadness. At this time, Uncle Han's feelings were really better. Dre's martial arts skills were also better than before. The difficult moves of the past, now he could perform them. Regardless of whether it was sunny or rainy, the two still practiced hard. After many days, Dre finally defeated Uncle Han. But that wasn't enough. The two continued to practice more. Before the day of the tournament, Uncle Han gave Dre a gift: the jersey that Bruce Lee used to wear. Perhaps Uncle Han was the best person Dre had ever met. Then, the boy went to Mei Ying's house to find her father. He wanted to express that he wanted to be a good friend to her. Seeing that he was sincere, her father agreed and let his daughter go to see Dre's martial arts match. He did not forget to wish the boy victory. After many days of practice, the day of the competition finally arrived. Mei Ying also came to watch as her father had allowed. Watching his opponents fight, Dre was a little worried. Soon it was Dre's turn. Because this was his first time, the boy didn't know the procedure, so he ran out awkwardly. But soon he regained his spirit and scored a point. In the end, Dre knocked out his opponent to earn his first victory. Chang's side also easily defeated their opponents. Dre got his second win again. The third match was also very favorable, and he passed easily. As for the semifinal, Chang won and was the first to reach the finals. Now it was Dre's semifinal match. The coach urged his student to use dirty tricks to take down Dre. That kid hit Dre repeatedly in his previously injured leg. With the act of intentionally injuring the opponent, the kid was eliminated. Dre made it to the finals but was seriously injured. The kid who beat Dre wasn't happy about doing the dirty thing just now. Dre's injury was quite serious. He probably wouldn't be able to continue competing. If Dre didn't return to the ring in 2 minutes, victory would go to Chang. Immediately realizing this, Dre asked Uncle Han to let him go on the field. Seeing that his determination was so great, Uncle Han agreed. Then Dre walked out to the ring to everyone's enthusiastic cheers. But he was injured, so defeating Chang would be extremely difficult. Without getting many blows in, Dre was kicked out of the ring. But Dre refused to back down and still climbed up to continue the battle. Luckily, this round he scored and leveled the score. The next round was also quite favorable. He scored again. The trainer saw that and instigated Chang to use dirty blows against Dre. Then, Dre received another kick to his old wound. Even though his condition was very bad, with determination, Dre still stood up to continue fighting. Chang also looked scared before this stubborn boy, and then he was defeated by Dre with a super high kick. So, Dre won this tournament. Little Chang also lost admirably. He asked the organizers to let him be the one to present the trophy to Dre. Uncle Han also received respect from Chang and his brothers. Mother and relatives were extremely happy and proud of Dre. The legend about the Karate Kid ends here. What do you think of Dre or about this movie? Leave a comment below and leave a like if you like this video. Now goodbye and see you again in the next recaps.